Hi, welcome back to Another Year Bolder. My name is Jamie. I am currently on a 100+ pound weight loss journey following the diet-free life method by Robert Ferguson. Today I'm going to be making 3 fat-burning meals. It's going to be some baked swai fish, fajita pitas with guacamole dip, along with some Siete Tacos. All of these are going to be free of seed oils, with the exception of the salad dressing because it is in there. But everything else is going to be seed oil free. All right, if you want to see that, stay tuned. Tonight I'm gonna make some swai fish. So first thing I'm gonna do is pour just a little bit of olive oil along the top, and then I'm gonna season it. And you can make any kind of fish you want. This is similar to what I made not that long ago. I'm gonna coat this, and then I'm gonna put the seasonings on top, and I might add a little bit more olive oil, sorry. I'll also season the bottom as well. So the first thing I have is Montreal steak seasoning. This is one of my favorites. I'm going to season with that first. There we go. Then I have some chili powder. And again, remember, you can put whatever you want on your fish, on your food. This is just what I'm doing. My husband's on his way home from work, and I want to try to get this done before it gets here. It has to cook 15 to 20 minutes, so I'll probably be here first. All right, that was garlic powder, chili powder, Montreal steak seasoning. This is salt. A very little pepper left. I have got to order some more. So I'm going to go kind of light on the pepper. Or as light as I can. And then I have parsley because I add parsley to everything. Don't mind that noise at the top of the cabinet. Too close to the cabinet, I think. Alright, so that's parsley. And now I'm going to add just a hint of Tony Chachere's. I'm going to spray a little bit more olive oil on there. And then I'm just going to combine this really well. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. These are still a little bit frozen, so they're going to cook in the oven at 400 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes. And I haven't decided what side I'm going to make. I'm probably just going to have salad because I don't feel like cooking anything else, to be honest with you. All right, here we go. I've got it flipped over. I'm going to spray some more olive oil. And then I'm going to use the exact same seasonings I just used a few moments ago. So just a little bit of Montreal steak seasoning. And I just cleaned my counter, and I'm getting the spices all over it. So I'm going to have to clean it again, I guess. That's okay. Some chili powder. Let me move this one further in so I'm not getting so much on the counter. As well. There we go. Okay, I'm still going. Oh, a little bit too much chili powder in that one. That one have to be my husband's. Although he's been having problems with heartburn too, so we'll see. All right, garlic powder, salt, a little bit of black pepper. Some parsley. Parsley does not want to come out very well for some reason. There we go. And then just a tiny, tiny hint of Tony Chachere's. Okay. Spray it down with some more olive oil. Make sure it is coated well on the back side. Then I'm going to flip it back over on the top. And I'm going to get the sides if I can, just to make sure it's flavored everywhere. All right, that looks good to me. I'm going to try to get this one that I put a little bit too much chili powder on. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and flip it. I got some spices on here that I'm going to try to grab and add. Oh yeah, these look good. There we go. This looks delicious. All right, here we go. 400 degrees again, 15 to 20 minutes, only because they're a little bit frozen. All right, here they are. They are fully cooked. I did put them on broil for the last 4 to 5 minutes or so, just because I wanted the edges to be a little bit crispy. They look and smell delicious. I'm going to go ahead and plate them, and then I'll show you how I'm going to eat them in a fat-burning meal. Okay, so the swai fish is going to be the protein. I might add a little bit more swai fish, but I haven't decided yet. We'll see how hungry I am. So the swai fish is the protein. The spring lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, they're all the slow carb. And then I have balsamic vinaigrette as the dressing. I'm not going to put any kind of dips or anything with the fish. I think this is going to be perfect how it is. You could plate this with a either bok choy. You could use celery, cauliflower, broccoli, black beans, whatever slow carb you wanted. It's just I've been cleaning all day and I had some computer work I had to do and I'm tired and I already had the stuff for the salad. So this is my fat burning meal for tonight. You'll probably see a lot of salads this week just because I have a lot going on this week, and whatever I can do to make it easy for me is what I'm gonna do. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy this. I'm gonna let you know how it tastes. Okay, so I'm gonna take a small little piece right here, especially where I burnt the ends. I'm gonna let you know. It is perfect. Definitely doesn't need any kind of dip or anything extra added. It is a little bit spicy, so keep that in mind. If you don't like it spicy, don't put as much spice as I use, but it's very, very good. Can't wait to finish. For a late lunch today, I'm going to be making some fajita pitas. So I have my pita bread right here. I have my pico de gallo. I have some frozen diced avocados that are thawing out now so I can make the guacamole dip. Then I have some sirloin tip steak that's thinly sliced. I do need to cut that down into smaller portions. I have my Mike's Hot Honey in the back, and then in the glass bowl, I have 1/4 cup of olive oil and 1/4 cup of lemon juice. And then over here for my spices, because I'm going to make the marinade, I have a teaspoon of cumin, teaspoon of smoked paprika, teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of pepper, 2 teaspoons of parsley, 2 teaspoons of chives. Then I have 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, and 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. So that is going to make my marinade. I'm going to go ahead and get the marinade. All mixed together, and then I'm going to cut the steaks up into smaller portions. And then while the steak is marinating, I'm going to make my guacamole dip, which I will show you how I do that as well. Okay, first I'm going to start with all my seasonings. This is either the Worcestershire or the soy sauce. I'm going to go ahead and dump that in. Then I'm going to dump whatever the other one was in. Then I have my salt, my smoked paprika. I have some chives, some cumin, black pepper. Then I have my parsley, my minced garlic. I'm trying to get all of that in there. There we go. All right. And then I'm going to add some honey as well. And I'm just using Mike's Hot Honey because that's all I have on hand. And that's going to work just fine. Sorry. So the Mike's Honey is all I have on hand. But that'll work. Just going to get this in there. And it looks like I don't have that much. And you could just eyeball it. I don't know how much I'm putting in. Maybe a couple of tablespoons. I don't have that much. Okay, let me go ahead and get this mixed really quick. I'm going to whisk this all together. I'm trying to get this honey that's on the side. I was able to get a little bit more honey out of the bottle, but not too much. So clearly I need to get some more. All right, so the marinade is definitely ready. I need to go ahead and slice up the steaks into smaller portions so I can get that ready for the fajita pitas. And then I will marinate that for probably 30 minutes to an hour, and I'll make the guacamole. I do have the meat double stacked, and I did that just to make it easier when I'm slicing them. You can use scissors, but the scissors tend to hurt my hand, especially after my surgery, so I'm not going to use those. And these are cut pretty thin already, so it's really easy just to make 1 or 2 glides, and it cuts all the way through. And then what I'm going to do is I want to cut these into even smaller sections, which I've already started to do over here on this side, if you can see them. So I'm going to go ahead and get these sliced. Okay, I'm just going to whisk this a little bit more because it has been sitting for just a few minutes. Make sure it's well combined, and then I'm going to start adding my meat to it and take that out. And I really want to get this meat coated. You can use gloves if you prefer. My husband does. He doesn't like touching raw meat or chicken, but I'm okay with it. Just wash my hands really good afterwards. Hoping, we love going to, I can't remember the name, Over the Top Pita is what it's called. So I'm hoping this will taste similar. I've made these before, but not using this marinade or this type of meat. So this is going to be new for us. All right, I've got all of that in there. So I'm going to give this a good mix. All right, I think it is mixed pretty well. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and stick it in the refrigerator for at least 30 minutes. I'm probably going to do an hour. Sorry, trying to get where you see it. Probably gonna do an hour because I want to get my kitchen cleaned up a little bit, work on some laundry, and then I'll make the guacamole dip. But I will definitely show you that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and make my guacamole. I have about 4 ounces of feta cheese already crumbled inside. I just use this brand. This is my favorite brand. I have 1.5 tablespoons of red wine vinegar, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of parsley, put however much you want, and then 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, which I split a little bit, so I don't exactly have 1 tablespoon. Then I'm gonna add some salt and some pepper. I finally did go get some more pepper so I can be generous. And then salt. All right, and I don't know if I'm gonna add this entire thing of diced tomatoes and onions yet, but I'm gonna add at least half of it for now. I am gonna use that entire bag of avocados. Okay. I'm just gonna stir that just a little bit. And I don't really wanna get the juice of the tomatoes, so I'm gonna get it out this way. Okay, so what I have so far, I'm gonna go ahead and give that a pretty decent mix. And then I'm gonna add the avocados because I have to smush those in here. This is my favorite way to eat guacamole. I have seen several recipes and I've tried a few others, but this is the way I like the most. And all I do is get frozen avocados. I let them thaw out. And the reason why I do this is because I can't ever seem to pick a ripe avocado ever. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give this a good mix. I'm gonna get these avocados smashed up some, and then I'm gonna show you what it looks like once I've done that. I did get most of it smashed. There are some big chunks still in there. I'm gonna let this sit out while I'm cooking the meat because these big chunks are still just a little bit hard from being in the freezer. I need to thaw it a little bit more. And I did add 1 more spoonful of the tomatoes and onions. All right, the meat has been marinating for a couple of hours because it took me longer to do things than what I had planned. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all the meat in here. This should taste very flavorful because it has been marinating so long. I do currently have it on medium-high heat. And I'm just gonna let it cook until it's completely done. And then we will make our fajita pita. I know you can't smell this, but it smells really good. It's not quite done yet. It's got just a few more minutes. My husband does not like it rare in any kind of way, but it's very close. Okay, here we have it. Another fat burning meal that was really easy to do. The pita is the fast carb. The slow carbs are the strawberries, blueberries, and the tomatoes and onions that are in the pico de gallo. The fat is the avocado, the feta cheese, and the shredded cheese. And then the steak is the protein. I've had this multiple times, absolutely love it, but I'll go ahead and take a bite now. Let's see if I can take a bite of it without making a mess, because I usually make a mess. All right, let's see. Hands down, my favorite guacamole that I've ever made. Love this guacamole. If you've never had it before, definitely give it a try. I'm gonna enjoy my meal. All right, today I'm gonna be making some Siete Tacos. I am out of the Siete Taco seasoning, so I'm gonna be using the McCormick's 30% less sodium mild taco seasoning instead. We're gonna use shredded cheese, some shredded iceberg lettuce. I have a Trinity mix with tomatoes, bell peppers, and onions. Then I have some 2 pounds of grass-fed ground beef. Have my Siete taco shells, which are made of avocado oil. And then we have our Daisy sour cream. This is everything we're gonna put on our tacos today to make it a fat burning meal. All right, I have the ground meat in here. I've got it set to medium-high. I'm also gonna add some minced garlic to this. And then when it comes time where the package says drain it, I'm not gonna drain the juice because I like the meat juice. It adds a lot of flavor. I'm just gonna add the taco seasoning in with the meat juice instead of adding extra water. I have a pretty big spoonful of minced garlic. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in here. I know a lot of people like to say add it before, do it after. I add it during because it adds a lot of flavor to the meat. and that's where I want my flavor to be. The meat is coming around pretty nicely. I don't know if you can see all that juice in there. But all that juice is going to have the meaty flavor along with the garlic flavor. So that's the type of juice that I do not want to dump out. I'll leave that in there, add some water, and then the taco seasoning, as I said before. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. Okay, the meat is very well cooked, so I'm going to go ahead and start adding in my seasoning and some water. I'm going to add 1 packet first, give that a good mix, and then I'll add the second packet. You see, I left that juice in there from the meat. It's just going to add extra flavor. It's going to make it taste even better. Okay, so I have the first packet pretty well combined. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the second packet, and then I'll make sure that it's fully combined. Oops. I did spill some all over my stove. You saw that. I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit of water to this one. Most of my taco shells were broken. I did manage to find 2 that were not. This is something I like to do. It doesn't give you a pretty picture, but that's okay. I have a hard time getting my sour cream all over my taco once I put the meat in there. So what I do is I put my sour cream on both sides and on the bottom before I start filling it up with anything. This way I can make sure every time I take a bite, I'm getting some sour cream in that bite. And I did warm up my taco shells as well. My mom used to put them in the oven. I just stuck them in the microwave for about 15 seconds. And if you do come up with a box that has a bunch of broken shells, you can just always turn it into a taco salad, which is probably what I'm going to have for dinner because this is a very late lunch. And I'm not going to have the fast carbs for dinner. All right, so that part is ready. Just got to wait on the meat and then we'll taste it. All right, the meat is ready, so I went ahead and put some of that inside of the taco shells. I'm going to add, I dropped my lettuce. I'm going to add my lettuce really quick. Then I'll add some tomatoes and onions and bell peppers. And these are going to be very messy because, one, I'm a messy cook, I'm a messy eater, and tacos are just messy in general. There we go. Got the lettuce in there. I'm going to add some bell peppers, onions. You can use a spoon. I'm just going to use my fingers. There's no reason to be all perfect here because that is not me. And you can see I have a lot falling out on that side, and that's okay because what I'm going to do is put a little pile of lettuce and I'm going to add all that extra stuff onto the side to help me with my slow carb portion. All right, I got some cheese in there. Let me just add a few more things and I'll show you what it looks like. Here they are all plated. This is going to be a fat burning meal because the protein is going to be the ground beef. The fast carbs are the 2 taco shells, and 2 taco shells would be a portion for me. And then the slow carbs are the lettuce, the tomatoes, the onions, and the bell peppers. The fat is the cheese and the sour cream, and then the condiment is the salad dressing. Salad dressing is the only thing that has seed oils in it because I have not yet found a salad dressing I like that does not contain it. So if you know of one, I'm happy to find out about it. So put it in the comments for me. All right, I'm going to go ahead and bite into this taco. But remember, I am a messy eater. It is probably going to fall apart on me. So don't be shocked. It's so delicious. I'm sorry. It's so delicious. I love these Siete taco shells. They give it like almost like a Taco Bell taco shell taste without the seed oils. So I absolutely love that. Anyway, I'm going to finish this plate and enjoy it. I'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you again for watching. If you like this channel, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and click that notification bell. That way you can get notified when new content is posted.